Hi, this is my review of the Ironhill Citadel Virtual Box Set by 01 Games. This is a complete box set featuring a citadel with a very heroic background. Now, I'm going to talk about both the quality and the content as I go forward with this review. When you purchase the Ironhill Citadel Virtual Box Set, you get several map booklets and a couple of poster maps. Let's talk about some of the features that all of these map booklets share. First, we have the very useful Rule the Dungeon button from 01 Games that allows you to remove the fill of the different dungeon walls, or in this case the citadel walls. You can also change if you want a square or a hex grid or no grid at all. You can also remove the doors if you want to, and the furniture, the text, everything. So you could have a generic looking map if you wanted to, and you could draw out your own doors and furniture and elements and such. So this is going to be really handy to get more reusability out of this entire virtual box set. You also have a button to change the orientation of where you want the north mark to be directed at. You also have a checkbox, so if you want to print the north mark in all of the maps, you can have this checked or unchecked. And then you have two buttons if you want to print all of the blue pages or all the black and white pages, because you get the maps in both blue and black and white. So it's great for your preference. You also have a legend of the symbols commonly used in all of the different maps. And all of the maps just look great, really awesome, high quality. It's quite easy to look at the details and the architecture of the different structures. It really gets the creative juices flowing for you to come up with some interesting encounters in all of those sections. And you have a master control panel to affect all of the maps at the same time through the Rule the Dungeon button, so that's really useful. Let me give you some details about the story of the Ironhill Citadel. The place where the Ironhill Citadel is now at was first occupied by a lone hamlet, and a king heard of a band of orc marauders that were attacking the area. So he sent a garrison led by Lord Barticus. But when he arrived to this hamlet, the orcs had slaughtered all of the people, even the children. So Barticus requested reinforcements. However, these reinforcements didn't make it in time. However, when the reinforcements actually arrived, they found Lord Barticus standing over a hill made of iron shields from his garrison, and he was covered in orc blood and holding a great axe in his hand. So later on he was known as the Lord of the Iron Hill, and a great citadel was built upon this very spot. All of the different sections of the Ironhill Citadel have their own background information of what goes on in different districts, and there's a lot more details when it comes to the story. So everything is well written and explained. However, I did find a few typos, but they weren't a big deal. Now let's talk about the layout of Ironhill Citadel. You have a clear division of the different districts. You have the Lord's District, the Military District, the Gate District, etc. So it's very easy for you to plan different events that are going on at the same time, perhaps, in Ironhill Citadel. I usually like the blue maps more when it comes to an overland or a bird's eye view of things, but here both the black lines and the blue lines look excellent. So you have a view of the different zones and sections of the Ironhill Citadel. You can see the way of the iron shields and the dungeon entrance. You can also see the way of the king's clerics and the high temple complex. There's also the nymph's pond and the hero's shrine. You can also see the buyer's chapel and the empty hand inn, or Lord Barticus way and the Five Good Men street. So this is great for you to come up with some ideas on how the characters are going to enter Ironhill Citadel. Perhaps they are actually defending Ironhill Citadel, or they want to invade the citadel as well. You can come up with all sorts of adventures depending on the party of adventurers and the quest at hand. And at the end of each of the different map booklets, you have a sheet to organize everything by level and map. You can write a number, a name, and a short description for each of the encounter areas. And just take a look at this bird's eye view poster map of Ironhill Citadel. It looks really nice. It looks kind of like with a sepia tone to it, or somewhat aged. So there's no need for you to wet that paper map with some coffee or something to give it that appearance. I think this is a great handout, and perhaps it is something presented to the player characters as a gift, perhaps from a ruler or a patron that they served in a particular quest, and maybe now they know about Ironhill Citadel and they want to go there and see what opportunities they find. Let's talk about the church district. This is a place where you will find, of course, clerics, perhaps scholars and scribes. This is a place where you could find some divine prayers and some new lore or old lore about the different deities and powers and the different shifts of the different cults and sects. Everything is clearly detailed. You have a display of the entrance, the temple, even toilets, offices, the refectory. You can see the kitchen, the High Temple library, different offices and the hall, warehouses. So this is a great district to visit if you want to look for some information on a particular type of divine magic or about some deities. This is probably the first place that the clerics of the group, or other variations when it comes to the class, will visit, looking for training, contacts, and secrets. Then we have the Citizens District. This has some important features, such as the monument dedicated to Lord Barticus. You also have the Temple of the Earth Lord, so those of the characters that have to deal with elemental deities and powers, they will surely visit this place, perhaps the druids of the group. You also have Shield Wall Inn, a place for rest, recovery, and perhaps to obtain some information or rumors. You can see all the details concerning the temple, the waiting room, the dining room of different places, bathrooms. There are many houses for you to interact with non-player characters. Maybe you are visiting a friend or a family member of one of the party members. You can also see the tap room of the Shield Wall Inn and the Spirit Storage, different apartments, many different houses, and I think this is going to be quite useful in many other adventures when you want to generate the layout of a particular house. You could take some rooms from the Ironhill Citadel and just modify them by using the Rule the Dungeon button and adding your own things. And then we have the Ironhill Citadel dungeon. This place is going to be perfect to stop or carry out smuggling operations. There are also some crypts and hidden secrets within this dungeon. So this section of the Ironhill Citadel is begging to be used as a self-contained adventure or series of adventures within Ironhill Citadel. And the map is quite big because all of this underground complex goes through the entire Ironhill Citadel, so you have the sections divided by northwest, northeast, southwest, and southeast of the different districts. There are many places that look quite suspicious. Maybe the characters will go down here to find secrets, or to conduct shady dealings, or to stop such types of illegal activities. They could find weapons, they could find danger. The crypts are particularly noteworthy. Maybe there are some zombies or ghouls and wights waiting for unwary parties of adventurers to go down here and find a ghastly death. I think that if, for example, you're having some sort of like invasion sort of adventure, whether you are invading the Ironhill Citadel or you are being invaded, this could be a key location. Maybe some of the invaders are trying to go through this dungeon to gain access to the upper city, and you'll have to fight up close and personal in this tight quarters type of environment if you want to stop the city from being invaded, or if you want to go into Ironhill Citadel unnoticed by the guards above ground. With places such as the Barticus family crypt and the Iron Watch dungeon, the King's Garrison dungeon, the Smuggler's hideout, High Temple complex crypts, and the main cistern, there are many adventures that you can have and side quests within this Iron Citadel dungeon. Then we have the Gate District. This is the place where different guards and officers are going to go through the different goods that are going in and out of the citadel to make sure nothing suspicious is going on. I think this particular district is going to be of great interest for the rogues of the party, because with all of those warehouses and places where the guards and officers are storing goods, there is sure to be something valuable. So you have places such as the city gates, the guard posts, the courtyard, the sheriff's office and jail, different warehouses, cart parkings, different stairs and parlors, and the reception. You also have restaurants. So this is a very lively place. An area of particular interest if you are looking for some object that was rumored to be brought into the Ironhill Citadel. Let's talk about the Lord's District. This is a place where elegance and strength reside in perfect harmony. You get a good sense that the most elite combatants of Ironhill Citadel are constantly frequenting this Lord's District, with the garden, the fountain, the library and the study being close by to the armory, the barracks, the Iron Watch area entrance, and the officer's apartment, the locksmith, and the guardian's apartment. You can see how there is great refinement in this district, but also quiet strength. A place of beauty, but of wartime affairs when needed. Even easier to notice when you take a look at those catapults. Then we have Market District. This is an area of interest for all the party members, of course, because this is a great marketplace. And there are some unique structures to it. You have, for example, the Buyer's Chapel that features many small shrines dedicated to different deities. So both customers and merchants will surely look for wisdom when it comes to profits in this place of communion. So you have a clear display of all of the different sections of the market district, such as the marketplace keeper house, the buyer's chapel, of course, the wheelwright, the locksmith, the woodworker, the silver vendor, the gold vendor, fish vendor, barrel vendor, all sorts of stands and breweries. You also have wells, places where you can obtain fine dresses and weapons. You could perhaps establish a long-term relationship with one of the merchants or several of the merchants in this district and sell some of the things that you will find in your adventures. Then we have the military district. This is a place where the bulk of the military power of the Ironhill Citadel resides. This place was actually built over a park with a nymph's pond. However, not much remains of this park. The entire military district was built upon it, so perhaps the nymph is not too happy about that. Or who knows, maybe she actually likes the new arrangement and she lives in harmony with the inhabitants of the military district. This district features many areas such as the training camp, the stables, the armory. You have the hero's shrine, the nymph's pond, of course. I think you could find some interesting adventures here. Maybe the nymph will become a patron. Maybe the nymph is actually an enemy. Or maybe actually the nymph is quite friendly and she will reveal some secrets of the site of Ironhill Citadel before there was even a citadel over it. So you have the ammo shop as well, different offices and libraries, even a classroom. Perhaps the martially inclined characters of the group can learn some new tactics and weapon techniques here. And just take a look at this poster map of the Ironhill Citadel. As you can see, it's a different angle when you compare it to the bird's eye view. This is a great map to plan the defense of the citadel if it's being attacked, or if you are trying to invade or infiltrate this Ironhill Citadel. This map can also be of use to you. And because it has that sepia tone to it, as I mentioned, it looks somewhat weathered and old, it's a great handout, or just to show it to your players and tell them that they found it on some in a lair or in the office on some non-player character of importance. The map looks really nice, and you can see all of the different districts from a more realistic or immersive point of view as well. And then you have 24 sheets that show the rooftops of the entire Ironhill Citadel. This is going to be great to map out and scale the progress of the player characters across the entire Citadel. And I think it's going to be quite useful as well for other adventures and campaigns, even if they do not feature the Ironhill Citadel. You can use all of the different rooftops to map the top or overview of an entire structure. They are all quite clear, very useful if you want to have like a rooftop chase or battle. Or you can even methodically plan your next assault if you're perhaps a group of rogues trying to infiltrate or attack or rob the Ironhill Citadel. Or if you are looking for vantage points while carrying out some important task, these plans of the rooftops are going to be really handy for it. So what do I think of the Ironhill Citadel virtual box set? This is a great box set, and it's going to be perfect for many role-playing games and even war games and skirmish games. Because if you want to play, like, for example, a battle scenario where you're fighting outside of the Citadel and suddenly the battle continues inside of it, this is going to be great for that. And when it comes to role-playing games, this Ironhill Citadel is a bit like a mini campaign setting, or who knows, you could even expand it even more. You could have adventures outside and inside the Citadel. There are different sites with many mysteries and interesting encounters waiting to happen. The dungeon, the nymph's pond, the crypt within the dungeon, and all of the different districts, the marketplace district and the lord's district. You can meet up with all sorts of non-player characters. Maybe there is some sort of conspiracy happening inside of the Ironhill Citadel. Maybe you are just being hired for something, and now you could actually own one of the houses or structures within the Citadel itself. You never know what is going to happen here. This is also a great place if you want to have an adventure hub, and the player characters can come back to the Citadel and get supplies, weapons, and rest and recover. But maybe there are also some surprise adventures and events within the Ironhill Citadel. So I definitely recommend that you get the Ironhill Citadel. And at the moment of this review, the bundle of holding offer of 01 Games is still up. I mentioned that in my review of the Dungeon of Terror. If you haven't seen that review, I'm going to put the link in the description below so that you can check it out. So I highly recommend that you take advantage of that bundle of holding. I have reviewed some of the maps in that offer. So act now before it ends. I think it lasts about a week or two, I'm not exactly sure. So you should definitely check out that offer. All of the links are in the description of this video. Well, thanks for watching my review. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know. See you later.